Hello, my fellow nerds, and welcome to the Nerd Empire. I hope you all are having a fantastic day today, and I hope you all will enjoy today's reaction video. With that being said, let's get right into it, shall we? Okay, next one. I saw this and I figured I'd give it a react. This is Matara for those who don't know. And this is Matara shares a bit of advice about dating, relationships, making the first move, and so on and so forth. So let's see what Matara has to say about for dating advice, relationships, so on and so forth.
Hey Matara, I met a really nice girl that I'm talking to. Do you have relationship advice? Yeah, keep talking to her. I think everybody that you first meet is always going to be on their best behavior and you're always going to get the best version of them. Unfortunately, sorry, you asked me for relationship advice, but I'm about to make you a little sad. You don't
Yeah, that's the first part she says is pretty much true. It's like a lot when you're first talking to somebody and you're trying to get to know them, they tend to put on like a mask or a facade. They put on this act, this front for like the first few months. And when you're so far into, like, once you get into a relationship with them and they tend to stay in that, they tend to keep that mask on for a while. But further down the line, I'd say probably anywhere between 8 months to a year, that mask or facade just starts to melt away and you start to see the real person that was behind the facade. And it tends to sometimes not be the same person.
really know people. I like to say you don't really know people until you disagree with them, but it goes further than that. You don't really know people until you both disagree on something very important, and then you see how they treat you in a fight. You see if they're gonna, resort to being rude, resort to being mean, or if they're gonna, kind of like fight against you or make it you and them versus the fight. Number one, you're gonna see how they take accountability. Number two, another one is people will show you their best sides at the beginning because people want to impress you and they want you to like them. And it's going to take a lot of months for that kind of veneer to start falling, I guess. So just keep talking to them. Keep talking to them. Think about early dating or any dating, to be honest, as research and development. You're just doing R&D, right? You're just doing R&D and they can tell you a bunch of these things. Like, for example, I'll give you an example. Let's say you're out with this girl and she's telling you she loves to cook. She's a cook every day. She's cooking. She loves to cook. And then you've kind of talked to her for 3 months and then you realize she never cooks. So then you're thinking, was she just telling me that she loves to cook because she wants to impress me? Things like those are little examples, but you don't really know people at the beginning. I think at the beginning, even if people aren't trying to, most people kind of have their guard up and most people are trying to just show you little parts of themselves.
I think the best thing people can do when it comes to talking to somebody and getting to know them, don't ever put up a front. Because there are some people who put up this persona just to try and reel somebody in or impress them. And then there are some people who are so afraid to be who they actually are that they constantly keep trying to play this person that they actually aren't. I think it is better to upfront be who you are. And if the person doesn't like who you are, then you guys just weren't meant to be together. I've lived with this phrase in my head that I've come up with. It's, you can either love me for who I am or hate me for what I've become. When it comes to either be it in a date, in public, on stream, off stream, at work, wherever, I am always the same person. Because I've always been of the thought that I think it is fucking exhausting and a waste of time to try and be a person that I'm not. Because I'd rather have the person like me for who I am than something for that I am not. Because I think it'd just be fucking exhausting to try and keep up that kind of act.
So it's going to take a while for their mask to slip, and you're kind of have to see how they treat the waiter. If maybe you guys go on a small trip and the car breaks down or there's no gas and they start freaking out and yelling at you, right? Or it's never going to be on the first or second or third date that you're really going to. And by the way, if it is the first date and they're already exhibiting really crazy stuff, ooh, it's not going to get any. Basically, the first like few months of knowing somebody, this is where it gets tough, right? And I'll give you the example with Miki. I'm sorry, Miki. I'm using you as an example because I love you. My first getting to know Miki was fine. But now as I've known her more, it's a deeper friendship and it's a deeper trust and it's better and better and better. But that's because obviously, like with any friend, like we had some disagreements, we had some stuff, we traveled together, we did a bunch of stuff. There was a lot of things that happened between us. But you should kind of treat the first few months of dating as like the highlight reel. So if there's already problems there, and it should then get better. That's another part too, where like the closer friends I am with people, the more deep our relationship get, the better our jokes get, the more we get along. That's kind of how it should work. But yeah, I just want to be held and feel wanted. Oh, I'm sorry, Quizzy. You and a lot of us.
Yeah, it's like a lot of there's also something like when it comes to relationships, when people get into arguments or they get into fights or whatever, you tend to know if the person is willing to want to stay with you, if they actually really care for you, because if you guys have an argument or get into a fight, if they care for the relationship and if they care for you, they won't give up right away. There are plenty of people who are in a relationship who, as soon as they have that one fight, that first fight, they instantly give up on the relationship and they leave and they go and find somebody else. That is the type of person that immediately shows that they never cared for the relationship. They never cared about you. They just did not care. So the type of person you want to keep is the one that, even though they'll have an argument with you, they'll disagree with you, they'll still want to stay with you, and they'll still want to make things work with you. They'll still want to love you. They still want to have a future with you. As it also goes both ways with that. You can't just have one person wanting to make sure the argument keeps the relationship keeps working. If only one of you is trying to do that, then I'd say leave the relationship, because there's nothing but stress and heartache for you in that point. So it has to go both ways. You can't just have it one way and not the other. You can't have your cake and eat it too.
Maury, thank you for the 14 months. I think just kind of reframe a lot of your early dating as it's just research and development, right? Like if you meet somebody and you had a great date, that's nice, but it's research and development. You don't, see one thing and you're like, oh my God, let me buy 5,000 of them. You're like, all right, let me get the sample in. Let me feel the sample. Let me compare it. I don't know. I see by feel. I just want someone to go to Quiznos with. I don't think I've ever been to Quiznos. Yeah. I think just remember that people have a very long research and development phase, and that's okay.
I think the other thing when it comes to dating, there are plenty of people who, and this only works for very few people. It's not a very common thing, but there are people who get married within like the first few months of them dating, and normally that is not a good thing to do, because you haven't gotten to know the person long enough to know that that they are the person that you want to be with, that they're the person that you can handle living with. All this other stuff. Now, on occasions, it does work out, and those people do end up staying married for a long time, but that is rare. That is not common. I think it should take at least a year of getting to know the person and living with them before you decide if that is the person you wish to stay with. Because you get to know their quirks, their faults. You get to know the ins and outs of that person, whether you are compatible with them emotionally, physically, sexually, all this other stuff. You have to find out all the little things to make sure that it is you are wanting to be with that person, because otherwise it's just not going to work out, and you both are just going to be miserable throughout the entire thing.
Some people have longer research and development phases. Sometimes people lifestyle and your lifestyle don't really work together, and that's okay. And I think another one is have an idea of what you want and don't be afraid to say no. Like, I think sometimes we're afraid to say no to people, or we're afraid to leave people, or we're afraid to leave situations because everyone's got this thing. Like, I think you should have high standards.
Yeah, I've wanted to say this. There are people who stay within their relationship because they are so afraid that if they leave that said relationship, that they are not going to be able to find anybody else, and they are so afraid of being alone that they will stay in the relationship despite how bad it is. And that sort of mentality, I think a lot of people need to get rid of, because there, as the saying goes, there is plenty of fish in the sea. There is always somebody out there for someone. It just, it depends on if you ever run into them or not. But you can't just stay in a relationship that is bad just because you believe that you're not going to be able to find anybody else, or that you're afraid of being alone. You can't be afraid to be alone and just stay with the person.
But also, okay, how did this turn into a dating talk? You should have standards and all that stuff, blah, 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 blah. But also, you should be a little realistic with, like, for example, currently, I'm not in, like, the greatest shape of my life. Am I in good shape? Sure. But I'm not currently making the gym a priority. So if I am expecting to be with a man who has a 12-pack and is working out and eating healthy on the time and not drinking, well, that's not what I'm doing at the moment. At the moment, I am drinking a little bit. I'm not taking care of myself the way I should be. Like, my nails aren't done, my stuff like that. So there's also that reality of, like, if you are looking, for example, for somebody that is super fit and super educated and maybe, like, goes to therapy and is emotionally intelligent, but you aren't doing all that stuff, it's maybe not realistic. And that goes for everybody, men, women, everybody, right? Where you also have to kind of realize, like, okay, well, if you want somebody that works on themselves and is, if you want somebody that, like, is communicative and takes accountability and all that stuff, are you communicative and do you take accountability, as an example? Because chances are that person.
Yeah, look, I agree with Matara on this. It's like, if you want to have there's nothing wrong with having standards when it comes to a relationship. Like, if you want somebody who's 6+ feet, has a 6-pack and 6 inches, all this other stuff. The thing is, if you want that, you can't just expect that and not give anything in return to the relationship. Because if you're expecting him to be a protector, provider, to expect all this stuff, you also yourself have to be able to bring just as much into the relationship as you are expecting from the person. Like, you don't have to bring the exact same things as you were expecting from the person, but you have to bring something that is just as equivalent to what you are expecting. Because you can't just expect everything from this person and the only thing you are bringing is yourself. That is not the way to be in a relationship. I mean, if you want to be a sugar baby to a sugar daddy, fine, go right the fuck ahead. But if you want an actual long-lasting relationship that leads to marriage and having kids and staying with them till death do you part, you have to bring just as much into the relationship as you are expecting the person to bring into the relationship. Relationships are 50-50 no matter what you believe. It's not 60-40, 70-30, 80-20, 90-10, 100-0. It is 50-50.
And will also want that kind of accountability and communication from you, right? And that is what it is. I think compatibility is more important than attraction. Yeah, I think it also depends where you are in life, right? Like,
and look, expecting the person to be physically attractive is just as fine, Because I think for physical intimacy, you have to be at least somewhat physically attracted to your partner. Because I don't know if you can just be physically intimate or sexually intimate with somebody that you don't find physically attractive in any way, shape, or form. I think that would be very difficult, if not impossible. So expecting the person to have be somewhat physically attractive is perfectly fine.
You try telling an 18-year-old that emotional compatibility is more important than attraction, when like just recently become adult, they're like, I just want to, put my thing in someone else's thing. Like, you try explaining that to an 18-year-old, right? That like, oh, you're looking for an emotional connection and you're looking for compatibility.
Hell, I've been looking for somebody that I wanted to marry since I was fucking 18. I've wanted somebody to, settle down with since I was fucking 18. There aren't many 18-year-olds who are like me who've wanted that. I think there are more 18-year-olds or 17-year-olds or 19-year-olds or whatever who basically just want to be physical with somebody. That's it. They just want to sleep with them. Same. Sorry, can't move right. Oh, I thought you were going to sleep. Welcome back. But it's not unexpected with them. They're 18. They're still virile and they want to have fun. It's fine. You're still young. You're 18. But I'm one of the very, very few people who, hell, even before I was 18. But I'm too lazy to move. Even before I was 18, one of my dream goals in life was to find somebody that I can marry and hopefully be the only person I marry and, grow old and die with and have at least one or two kids with. That has been one of my absolute biggest dream goals since even before I was 18. Here I am, 34 and single, but, it's hard to find somebody when you never fucking go out of the goddamn house. Okay, bro, I'm a respawn. Gotta work in 5 hours. Oh, that's fine, Dakota. You go get some sleep. You probably should have slept 3 hours ago. I want that too, but soon I might get too old. Well, for wanting kids for women, it is recommended to try and have kids before 35, because once you hit 35 and older, it becomes more difficult and more dangerous to have kids. I mean, I've heard of a 60-year-old giving birth to a kid, but again, after 35, it's more difficult and more dangerous for women to have kids. It's still possible, but, it's just... I forget how I started this.
Yeah, so it is what it is. Thank you, Flower. I really appreciate that. So I think it's really important to, I think it's important, like I said, you have to have your boundaries and you have to have things that maybe are kind of like, okay, I don't tolerate this. But at the same time, you should also give people, I know it's so hard, I'm sorry, because at the same time, you should also give people grace. And you should also understand that people aren't perfect. People make mistakes. Maybe, maybe somebody did not say the full truth on a date to you, right? And then you kind of are like, hey, you told me this on the date, but then you said this. Why are you, saying things that are untruthful? And maybe they're going to be like, look, I'm so sorry. I was actually embarrassed because XYZ. And then you decide, is that enough for me? It depends.
I don't think there's anything wrong with, little white lies, just, so long as you're not consistently freaking lying every goddamn time. But, a white lie I don't think is very, very bad. And the other thing I think when it comes to relationships and trying to be with somebody, the one thing is you should never have to sacrifice your own happiness to try and make the relationship work or to try to get or make the other person happy. You should both have your own happiness independent of each other and with each other. And neither person should have to sacrifice any of their happiness to try and make the relationship work.
That's so sweet of you, Flower. Chat, also proud of you all. Everyone is doing their best, and that's plenty. Chat. I love when you get called chat. Chat, chat, chat room, chat. Don't cry, don't cry, don't cry, don't cry. Don't cry, don't cry, don't cry, don't cry. Too late, Matara. Already crying, spinning, crying. I want someone to love me for who I am. But then this is the problem with, you know, wanting to find somebody to love you for who you are, is that number one, you actually have to show people who you are, which is fucking scary and fucking terrifying, right? Sorry for my language. But then, wait. Let me go further. But then there's gonna be people who don't love you for who you are, and you're gonna be like, everything is wrong with me.
That is 100% true. For a lot of people, it is very terrifying to show who you actually are, because you are so worried that nobody's gonna like you for who you actually are. But like I've said, the phrase I grew up with, that I came up with, is you can either love me for who I am or hate me for what I've become. I am not going to change who I am just to please you. I want to be who I am. I will always be who I am, whether it is on stream, off stream, public, private, wherever the fuck. Wherever you see me, I am the exact same person in any situation. The only thing is, I hold myself back a bit because I don't know if the person can handle the full version of me. So I tend to make it go a little further, just to see where the line is. But I will not change who I am. I just will not give you the full version of who I am. I will find where the line is so that you are comfortable. Because I know there are some people who are not very comfortable with the full version of me. But that's how I am. I don't change who I am. I just don't give the full version. I give the amount of version of who I am to the point of where their line is.
Right? And then you're going to be like, everything is wrong with me because these people don't love me for who I... So... And sometimes you can work on yourself too. Like, for example, right now, you know, I am drinking a lot. Not that much, but I am drinking more than I should be at the moment. But also my parents are visiting. We're going out to restaurants. We're having champagne, whatever. So let's say, like, I could tell myself, I want to find somebody who loves me for my drinking and blah. But it's also like I should also, for my health, not drink as much. At my big age, I'm getting there, you know, there's definitely stuff where it's like, I want people to love me for who I am, but if I'm somebody that like goes reclusive and doesn't communicate with anybody for 6 months out of a year, well, maybe I could work on that a little bit, you know. Your mom will love you for that, but okay, it is not a liter of wine a day. I will say, yesterday I had two glasses of Prosecco, right? And then I gave the rest to Junie. And then when I went out with my
yeah, there are some things a lot of people that they could do with working on for themselves. Like, one of the biggest things a lot of people could probably work on is their physical health. Because if you don't work on your physical health, you're not really going to live a very long life. Like, for me, I know the one thing I need to do is work on my physical health. I am not in the best health physically. Mentally, I could probably do better, but I think I'm pretty good on that front. It's just the physical health. I don't look good. I'm ugly fat man. But no, it's just... And the other thing is, when it comes to that, it's hard to want people to change if they themselves don't want to change. If somebody doesn't want to work on themselves, you can't really force them, because... You can't make somebody want to get better unless they themselves want to get better.
Family later, I had a glass for dinner. So I did have 3 glasses of wine yesterday. It you know, it did add up. But I'm not drinking today. Tee. I'm not waiting till I work out on my issues myself. Ooh, that's interesting, John. See, the thing...
That's another thing is you shouldn't be dating... Like, you can't love somebody if you are not able to love yourself. You shouldn't try and take care of somebody unless you are able to take care of yourself. You need to be able to be happy with yourself and be in a good place with yourself, both physically, financially, mentally, before you even think about wanting to date somebody. Because how are you supposed to take care of somebody? How are you supposed to provide for somebody? How are you supposed to love somebody if you can't do any of that for yourself? It's just not possible.
Thing with dating is you're always gonna be like, dating is a good way to also realize where your issues are and how to fix them. But I need you to understand, John, and I mean it, I mean it, I mean it. You deserve love at every part of the journey, right? Like, just like you deserve friendship at every part of the journey. Yes, sometimes you are like very hurt. If you just got out of like a 20-year marriage, maybe you're not ready to, date again right away. I get it. You have your own stuff to do, but you deserve to feel love and appreciation, and you deserve to have friendship at every part of your healing journey, right? So that is also something to kind of keep in mind, John. You don't want to get into a point where you're only ever going to therapy and you're only ever working on yourself and you never actually like meet people and give them a chance, right? Yeah, you hate the idea of being worthy of love at the finish line of your journey. Exactly. Me too. Same. Like you do deserve to find people and love, even if you're not perfect. But also I understand if maybe not everybody, let's say, I'll give me as an example. Earlier this year, right? Like, do I sometimes get asked out? Maybe. And if I go on a date with somebody and I'm just complaining about the stuff that happened with my work, this year, and I'm miserable and I'm crying and I'm in therapy all the time, yeah, I do deserve love. But at the same time, I can imagine if a new man that I don't know will be like, sorry, baby girl, not interested. And like, I get it, which is why I'm not dating. I'm not doing research and development right now. But once I heal, it's research and development time, baby. It's research and development time. R&D. It would help if leaving the house in general wasn't stupidly expensive. I agree with you. It feels like nowadays leaving.
God, yes, dating is fucking expensive. It is hard. Look, it is hard to try and figure out a way to plan a date to go somewhere without having to spend, half your fucking expenses. It's the thing is, when it comes to the first date, there are plenty of women who expect you to spend $100, $200, $300 on a first date, which is just fucking ridiculous as all hell. A date shouldn't have to. You shouldn't expect to be paying anything on a first date. A first date could be a walk in a park. Just getting a coffee, going to a McDonald's. The date shouldn't be expected to be brought to like a 5-star restaurant. And any woman you are bringing out on a date, or any man you bring out on a date that is expecting you to pay hundreds of dollars on the first date, I'm sorry, they are not worth that first date. All they are is a materialistic person who is using you for nothing more than a free meal. That's it. If you are bringing the person out on a first date and they are just perfectly fine with going to a park or getting a coffee, going to a place like McDonald's, Dairy Queen, something like that, then that is somebody that's worth going on a first date with. It is horrible to think that a person is expecting you to spend $100+ on a first date. That is just fucking stupid.
In the house, everything costs so much money, and that sucks. And that really, really sucks. Which is why, again, a lot of people are meeting at run clubs, hiking, rock climbing, all that kind of stuff. Pickleball, which again, that also costs money. Hell yeah, Skip. I love hearing that. Rufo, I'm sorry that you feel that way. It is something that you have to deal with, and something that, there's definitely a lot of people that will love you for other things than that. But if you yourself don't feel that way, then, there's not much I can really tell you. 2 year of Roach Mother. What's up, Arbiter? Also, okay, I have something I want to mention, and then we're going to play video games, okay? For the first time in a really, really long time in society and, whatever, we don't have to get married. For men and women, we don't have to make babies. We don't need to continue the bloodline. We don't need to do this stuff. So that's also kind of exciting because... Well,
currently we are kind of in a decline in population. So we kind of do need to make more people. You don't have to get married, but I personally I would love to get married. It's like I said, it's one of the things that I've wanted. I want to get married, and I would like the person I get married to take my last name.
Like, I don't know. I'm a growing hag woman, right? And there's a lot of folks being like, "Oh, Matara, if you don't have kids now, you're gonna miss out forever." And it's the great. And I don't know. I'm like, my grandmother was not allowed to live experiences the way I'm living my experiences. My mother, same thing. So it's kind of cool that I can just not have kids if I don't want to. I also don't have to get married if I don't want to. I also don't even need to be in a relationship if I don't want to. Right? Like that was something before where I'm sure y'all have heard like a woman is nothing without a man and a man is nothing without a woman. But I don't know. I've really enjoyed my like roommate time, right? Like I live with the girl, it's great. I hang out with some girls, it's nice. I don't know. It's been kind of nice. I'm like I'm doing my stuff. It's nice. I can still have a fulfilling life that's exciting, and I don't know. Aren't I scared of cooties? Not at the moment. I kind of feel like I need to continue the bloodline because I'm an only child. At least I feel like I do. You don't owe your parents children. Like, you do not owe your family, your parents, you don't owe them children. You should have children if you want to have children, but you don't owe your parents to, you know, it's absolutely not something that you have to do for them. Has it really been 2 years? It has been, Arashime. It's going to be 2 years on October 15th. Can you believe that? That would be a crazy bargain. Okay, Timmy, we will buy you an Xbox, but you owe us a grandchild by the time you're 28. That sounds awful. But yeah, bribe your siblings to have children. I know you said you don't have any siblings, but yeah, you should, Space Captain. One of the things about Anime Impulse that I really love is they do have fairly cheap tickets. I don't know if Anime Impulse Dallas will be the same, but Anime Impulse OC, it was $45 for a Saturday and a Sunday. Like both Saturday and Sunday together were $45. And it was a huge convention because it combines K-pop, it combines card collecting, and it combines VTubers. So there's so much. I have every hereditary disease under the sun. Why would I want to curse a kid with that, right? I kind of feel bad terminating 200k years of human evolution. Somebody else is not terminating those years of evolution. Plus, you have a bunch of kids. Yeah, true. You can donate your eggs or your floaters if you want people to. You could still have technically your offspring be around. It just won't be in like the traditional. I don't know. Also, yeah, everybody will eventually forget about everything. Like in 100 years, you know, no matter how great your name was in history in 1,000 years, and then I don't know. I know. So Skip, I obviously feel like this is another thing about children. I know there's been a lot of discussion lately about, you know, maybe maybe Gen X and the gen before them didn't always raise kids. You know, they did the best they could. But now I've been seeing some kid content that it really feels like the parents want to be parents, and they are doing such a good job about it. Such a good job about it, right? And because of that, it's just kind of exciting. Alexander the Great would like to disagree with you. Well, Alexander the Great was what, 2,000 years ago? 3,000 years ago? What about 10,000 years ago? There's a lot of stuff we don't know about that. So in 5,000 more years, who's to say we're going to know about Alexander the Great? Old Alex the Great was gay as hell. How often do y'all think about the Roman Empire, huh? How often do y'all think about the Roman Empire? Not enough, Matara. Not enough. I know he wasn't Roman. I know he's Greek. But because you guys mentioned Alexander the Great.
Every man thinks about the Roman Empire at least once a day or once a week. It is just how we men are. The Roman Empire.
Actually, wait, wasn't he Macedonian? Which I don't even know if that would be like modern. He wasn't even Greek, right? He was Macedonian. Yeah. My bad. Hey, I corrected myself before you corrected me, so yeah. It's just that I thought about it because I was thinking about that meme of how often do you think about the Roman Empire? Yeah. I prefer to think about Greek mythology. Okay, there. Okay. I don't think. All right. Let me pop open a game. But yeah, at the end of the day, Momos, it is night. Thank you.
Freaking Matara. She's a wonderful woman. She's very motherly. Well, that is the end of this video. I hope you all enjoyed it. If you did, please make sure to give a like and subscribe. I post videos 3 to 5 days a week here. I also post videos over on my other channel for gaming as well, so please make sure to give that a look-see, see if you enjoy that as well. I also stream anywhere from 3 to 5 days a week as well. Links to all my social medias will be on my YouTube page. And with that being said, I hope you all have a wonderful rest of your day, and I will see you all in the next video. Bye-bye.